Jake Tayler Jacobs, and you are in. Somebody said piece of paper. No, not piece of paper. Piece of paper, Taylor. You already starting stuff, and class ain't even got started yet. I'm gonna kick you out of class, Taylor. Y'all don't worry about Taylor. She got all the jokes all the time. All right, so listen. Everybody came on here to learn how to be the bank. I see some of y'all on Instagram, some of y'all on YouTube, and some of y'all are right now watching it live inside the Zoom. And unfortunately, if you're on IG, you're not going to be able to see the board like everybody else. So you got to go tap into the Zoom if that's something that you want to see, because my Zoom crew is lit right now. My Zoom crew real lit right now. All right. So listen, how many of y'all are excited to learn how to turn your business or endeavor into a bank? Let me see that. There's a couple of expectations I want you to have of today's class. A couple of expectations I want you just to be understanding and clear of. I'm going to be firm and straight to the point. Some of you all have been inside of the private banking blueprint already and have not taken action. Some of you all have been a part of the private banking blueprint. You took the challenge and you're putting things in place. And some of you all are brand new to the concept and everything that we teach. Either way, I want to say I love you, because no matter what process that you're on, we can guide you along the way, because all this information that you're learning is a lot to take heed of. It's a lot of information for you to take. And I just want to make sure that you got every single thing that you need in order to succeed in taking your life to the next level. So again, my name is Dr. Jake Tayler Jacobs, and the first question you should be asking yourself is, what qualifies Cousin Jake to teach anything about finances, to teach anything about business, to teach anything about banking? What makes Cousin Jake the least bit of qualified to do anything in regards to teaching me? And so if you guys don't mind, I am somebody that likes to show receipts. Is it okay? Is it okay if I'm somebody that likes to show receipts, y'all? I'm somebody I like to show some receipts. I think receipts are good for the soul. I think receipts are good for the soul. It makes us all feel a lot more confident and comfortable. I'm going to share my screen real quick so that we all can take a Google storyline approach with Cousin Jake. And figure out how long I've been teaching this thing that we call private banking and what it is. And I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if on Zoom you all can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. I like to show a little stats. Just a little something. I just like to show a little something. If you're on IG, you won't be able to see it. You need to go on my Zoom so that you can be able to see it for yourself. Okay. Can y'all see on my screen? Can y'all see it? Uh-oh. Let me know. This is a class. I need y'all to be kind of call and responsive with me. That lets me know that we all on the same page. Okay. Do y'all see it big? Do you see it big, or do you see it like a small screen? Is it big? I just want to make sure that we all good. It's small? Okay. Let's see now. Is it big now? Y'all let me know if it's big. I want to make sure. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all may be on y'all phone. I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. But this is the question that we have. The question of the day is, who is Dr. Cousin Jake Tayler Jacobs? Who am I? Where did I get started? What information gave me the power, if you will, to teach our people any bit of information in regards to finance? And why do I want to teach? Why do I want to teach you all the information that I'm going to teach you today? So real quick, as y'all can see in the top left corner right here, What is that date in the top? In the top, golly boy, in the top left corner where it says October 16th. What is that year? Somebody tell me what that year is. October 16th. Somebody tell me what that year is. That year, of course, is 2013. That was the year that we actually made the news when I took our financial literacy organization. And I helped us get funded by Capital One at my college, at my university. So I was a founding president of an organization called the Financial Literacy Organization of Wiley College. And because of that, we did such a great job. They funded us the year before as well as this year. So if you guys can see at the bottom, let me show y'all something real quick. Do y'all see at the bottom where it says the Financial Literacy Awards Program? It says last year, Wiley received a similar award from the bank in the amount of $4,000. So in 2012, I've been teaching financial literacy to communities, to colleges, to institutions across the board since 2012. What year is it today? It is 2022. So that's a decade. That's 10 years of me teaching financial literacy that is documented in paper. Anybody can go look it up as far as the length of time I've been in this game called finance. Okay. And from that information alone, in 2012, 2013, we got awarded another $8,000. So that was what? $12,000 that Capital One awarded my program for teaching financial literacy. So when I graduated college, I wanted to continue that step. I started a nonprofit organization called I Overcome Incorporated. And I Overcome was supposed to teach soft developmental skills to youth and at-risk young adults and teach them the financial principles that will allow for them to become financially independent. But guess what, cousins? One thing that you're going to find out is once you stop focusing on their initiative, once you stop pushing their narrative, guess what happens? They stop funding you. So the banks will stop funding you if you stop teaching people to need them. Go freaking figure, right? True financial literacy and true financial independence is the ability to operate without the dependency of somebody else. That's what true financial independence is. The ability to operate without the dependency of somebody else. And guess what? The moment I started to teach families how to no longer be super dependent on the banks was the very moment that the bank, this guy right here, the same guy that y'all are looking at right now, is the very reason that the banks said, no, we can no longer fund you because our focuses are not aligned. Now, if y'all think that's a bunch of BS, put the number 2 in the chat. If y'all think that's a bunch of BS, put the number 2 in the chat. They said, you're teaching people how to become too free. No, we can't do that. So guess what I did, cousins? Just like any brother or sister would do, you start teaching your concept anywhere that you can. I start teaching it everywhere. Listen, do y'all see this top left? When I started teaching financial literacy after I stopped getting funded, can y'all see this top left right here? That's me in a white hat. I'm teaching in a living room. And so I had a friend who had a living room right across the street. It was a loft right across the street from for the American Airlines Center for the Dallas Mavericks. And it was a beautiful overcast, and I felt like it was a great place to teach basic financial principles in business entrepreneurship to people that look like me, that came from my background, right? So as y'all can see, I literally taught this concept of financial independence. I taught this concept of banking from living rooms. Y'all hear me? From living rooms. So a lot of us, we be looking at our lives. We get down on ourselves for not having the support. We get down on ourselves for not having the financing. We get down on ourselves from not having any of that. I started teaching my concepts in living rooms, as y'all can see. And I went from a living room on the far right. That's another one of the living room. I'm on Zoom. Go to hybridbanking.com. Go to thehybridbanker.com if y'all want to chime in. So, as y'all can see, I was in the living room, and then the living room start getting more people. Y'all see at the left? What happened on the left side? Do y'all see at the left, me in a white hat? It's not a lot of people, right? Would y'all agree? Not a lot of people. And then it goes from not a lot of people on the left side to now on the right side, we're getting a little full in there. And guess what? They paying attention. They on their notes because the information we start teaching started getting lit. So then we went from churches that you see right here. We went to offices. We were anywhere that I could teach my concept and talk about true financial literacy and independence is exactly where I taught it. We've been doing this for a very long time. In the first year, I actually started teaching private banking. The first year I actually started teaching private banking. What year does that say up there at the top? That's why y'all know I love Facebook. I love Facebook because Facebook gonna keep them receipts, okay? Facebook is going to keep them receipts for Cousin Jake, okay? What year does it say that I started teaching private banking? So I've been teaching basic financial principles and basic financial freedom from 2012 to 2017. So that's 5 years that I was teaching financial literacy. I went to school. I got licensed as an educator in the state of Texas. So not only did I get licensed as an educator, I learned how to write curriculum, lesson plans, understand the cognitive behaviors of the mind so that people can be able to keep and retain information. And then in 2017, that's when I actually feel like I mastered the concept that you all know today as private banking blueprint. So that's 2017. So how many years is that me teaching banking? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 5 years of me teaching private banking publicly. Okay. So what does that mean? So February 11, 2017, I started teaching private banking. Okay. October 25th, 2017, me and my wife were regionally, I guess glorified or seen or whatever you want to call it. We were regionally seen as, okay, this firm right here got something up their sleeve and we absolutely believe that they're going to do something great. Okay. And then got in Yahoo Magazine, got Entrepreneur Magazine, made it to the Forbes Council, Membership Council. We had the #3 financial insurance agency in the country. As an independent producer, we were the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as far as production. And then in 2021, I received an honorary doctorate for my work in my curriculum of the private banking blueprint. Okay, for my work in curriculum of the private banking blueprint. And this is exactly what it is right here. This is the private banking blueprint that helped me get my honorary doctorate. Okay. My first book I ever wrote was We Are Sick, Surviving Financial Cancer. This is the first book that I ever wrote. And in this book, I statistically and scientifically prove how consumer debt is the #1 cause of death in Black America, specifically Black America, but America overall. Okay. This is in this book, I statistically and scientifically prove how consumer debt, being a consumer, is the #1 cause of death in our communities. Okay. So it's very important that we understand that. So before I move forward, before I move any further, did I at least get some of your confidence that I know just a little bit of what I'm talking about? Before we move any further, do I have just a little bit of your confidence that I know just a little bit of what I'm talking about? Okay, I think the receipts are important. And these are, not receipts that you put out, but I think that having some receipts of something else is absolutely important. So the very first thing I want you to write this down, cousins, write this down. I told you I used to be a teacher. Write this down. The very first thing I want you to write down, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Okay. I want you to write this down. Where your treasure is, your heart will be also. That comes from one of my favorite books, Matthew 6:21, chapter 6, verse 21. Where your treasure is, there also will be your heart. Now, what exactly does that mean, Cousin Jake? That means that you can literally look. You can literally look at someone's financial statement, their bank account, and determine where their focus is. Okay, some of y'all don't know me. Y'all know I'm gonna throw some scripture up in there. We're gonna learn a little bit about some Lord today. Okay, well, just a little something. But what you gotta understand is our finances, our financial construct, and our financial statements of our bank accounts are a direct reflection of where we are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I can look at someone's financial statement and determine their insecurities. I can look at someone's financial statement and determine if they're overindulging. I can look at someone's financial statement and determine if they're happy in their marriage. Because your financial statement is the report card of your life. So for some of us to be in this world and not know how to operate or mitigate our finances personally, that is a very dangerous game to be playing. So the first order of business to be the banker, you have to learn how to be a good money manager. Put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. I have to learn how to be a money manager. And a lot of us operate in life like children who just want something and you get it at any means necessary. You have to learn how to be a good money manager in order for you to take your life to the next level. If you do not learn how to be a good money manager, you will never be able to have the capacity to manage your life. I really want y'all to understand the commonalities of that. Why is that important? Before we even get into banking, why is that important? That's absolutely important because of this one thing. If I know my children need grade A education, if I know that my body needs grade A food and nutrients, if I know that I need to have my family in a safe environment so that we can be able to thrive without being scared of our safety, that means that I have to have some type of financial stability and some type of financial fortitude that will allow for me to live the life that God intended for me to live. If I do not operate in that dynamic or understand finances, it's going to be impossible for me to obtain, and keep the life that I desire. And this is a concept that bankers understand, and this is a concept that bankers have mastered. No matter what your craft is, you gotta know how to work your money. You gotta learn how to grow what you have. And that is true financial stewardship that will allow for you to be a great banker. Let me ask y'all a question. Would you ever trust a bank that every time you put your money in the bank, they could never show you or give you your money back? Would you ever trust a bank if every time you deposited money, you never could get it back? Would you ever trust the bank? If the answer is no, emphatically, all across the board, and that's something that we all came to the agreement on, well, can you say that you trust yourself with your future? Because if your future is dependent upon your financial fortitude, but yet when money hits your account, we don't know what to do with it, that's clear to say that your future is in the hands of someone who is not capable of getting you over the hump. And this is exactly why we were not given this information in school. Because the dumber we stay, the more blind we keep, And as long as we allow ourselves to be committed to the shiny object syndrome, we will always be in a position where we are controlled and we're never the controller. And when it comes to banking, it's 1000% about control and not being controlled. 1000% about control and not being controlled. Okay? It's very important that we understand that. So the concept of banking, that so many people get my information, they try to regurgitate it. They think that it's just about insurance. That's a fragmented piece of banking. That's a small portion. That's a blink of an eye. That's not even the function of the entire process. So if you took my course, you only got insurance, you need to double back in. Okay? It's very important that we understand that. So if you're ready for class, press number 4. We finna get started. Y'all say, Jake, I thought we already got started. Listen, I start like a preacher. We kind of stop and start. That's how I move. I start like a preacher. We kind of stop and start. So, the very first thing we have to ask ourselves, people say all the time, listen, if you want to be great, you have to study the greatest, right? Ain't that what they tell us? If you want to be great, you have to study those people who are great. Isn't that what they say? If you want to be great, you have to study those people who are great. Right? Isn't that what they say? Well, if that is the case, why haven't any of us studied the people who control the society that we live in? Think about it. Well, dang. Who controls this society? The bankers. The bank. The people who started the bank. Everything that we complain about is literally in front of our eyes if we know where to look. So remember, y'all remember what I said about our financial statements, right? Y'all remember what I said? You can know the behaviors of a person by reading their financial statements. Y'all remember when I said that? So if I can study the habits of a person by reading the financial statements, the question is, why don't we study the financial statements of the bank? If I want to be the bank, I have to study the banking institutions. It just quite naturally makes sense, doesn't it? So what we're about to do, we're about to go look at the bank. We're going to look at Bank of America, and we're going to look at JP Morgan Bank. Chase. So we're going to look at Bank of America. This is America. If y'all on my Zoom, if y'all in my Zoom and y'all still following me, let me know that you follow me. Y'all know I used to be a teacher, and it's hard to teach live through a computer if ain't nobody checking back with you. Let me know that you're still with me. Every now and then. All right, I'm putting in the chat right now. The link. So now all y'all can have that link copied and pasted. So you can go look at any bank that's backed by the FDIC from now on. You can go look at any bank backed by the FDIC from now on with that link I just shared. Okay? It's very important. If you're on IG or YouTube, you missed the link. You should be on my Zoom. All right, so we're going to look up Bank of America. See, Cousin Jake, I'm going to give you all the receipts I got. Because what verifies me is not hiding the other information I got. What verifies me is showing you where I learned it. Okay? That's one of the first steps of being a researcher or earning your PhD. You got to verify. Yeah, you got to show where you got your information. All right. So as y'all can see, we are looking at, I don't know what I just clicked. As y'all can see, we are looking at Bank of America National Association. Okay, we're going to click to generate a report. We're going to click the latest report. We're going to look at assets and liabilities, and we're going to generate this report. Remember, we're looking at the financial statements to determine the habits of the bank. We're looking at the financial statements to determine the habits of the bank. Okay, so it says dollar figures in thousands. So versus cousin Jake just telling you, I'm going to actually research dollar figures in thousands. What's the definition? This just means that they rounded all figures to the nearest $1,000 and skipped the last 3 digits for simplicity, right? So how do you show dollars in thousands? This is literally, it just means you add 3 zeros to it. Y'all got it? Do y'all see that? Okay. So when it says dollar figures in thousands, you add 3 zeros to the number that you already see. Y'all got it? Good. Okay, so now we're going to look at the assets and liabilities ledger of Bank of America. Let's look at these assets and liability ledgers. So here, we're looking at the assets and liabilities ledger here. We're looking at the assets and liabilities ledger. And as you can see right here, boom, assets and liabilities, dollar figures in thousands. Okay. Let's look at line 10 and 11. Bank of America, real estate. So you can add the 19.3, so 19.5. Add 3 zeros. When you add 3 zeros, that's $19.5 billion in real estate. $19.5 billion in real estate. And 19 billion of the 313 million is in their bank premises that they run their businesses out of. Does everyone see exactly what I'm looking at that's watching with me now? Good. Now, remember I said that we're going to study. What did I say we're going to study? We're going to study where they put their money. So what type of properties are the banks owning? Let's go and look. Type of properties. So, dollar figures in thousands, that's $313 million in real estate. And out of the 313 million, they have 205 million in commercial real estate. And they got 97 million in 1 to 4 family residential homes. Do y'all see a big apartment complexes? I'll wait. Do y'all see 15 and 18, 20 unit apartment complexes as the real estate properties that they own? Anybody see that? Anybody see that? No. The answer is no. How much in multifamily? They got $0 in multifamily. But 1 to 4 family residentials, they got that. So 1 to 4 units. Why would the bank, let me unshare my screen so I can look at y'all real clear. I want to make myself, what they say, real clear. The question is, why would the bank not put all of their money in multi-unit apartment buildings? They said 1 to 4 family residential properties, 1 to 4, and then they said commercial. Why would the bank only put their money and invest their money in those buildings? One very reason. If anything comes to shit, S-H-I-T, it's easier to sell a commercial building, a 1 to 4 unit building, than it is to sell a 16 unit apartment and keep your profits. Y'all saw it on their financial statement. They said 1 to 4 unit is still considered residential. Didn't y'all see the same thing that I saw? Is Cousin Jake making anything up? Okay, so what is that telling you as a financier of your family's wealth? Okay, there needs to be some form of fashion. There needs to be some form of fashion where real estate got to be a part of my portfolio. Now, was that all of the bank's money? Or was that some of it? Put it in the chat. 19 billion out of a $2 trillion, that's some. So what does that tell you? All your eggs don't need to be in real estate. Why? Because I'm studying what the banks are doing. Man, I hope y'all catching what I'm putting down. Because I'm sharing with y'all exactly what I'm looking at. So it's okay. It's okay. So 19.5 billion of the bank's $2.5 trillion in assets, 19 billion of the bank's 2.5 trillion is in real estate. Got it. So that's real estate. So did y'all write that down? 19.5 billion in real estate. Did y'all write that down? Write that down. Now let's go to a line most of us don't see. Line 41. Now, life insurance assets. Now, does that say liability or do that say asset? On line 41. Somebody tell me. On line 41, does that say liability? Oh, asset. So what does it say? Wait a minute. They got $24 billion in life insurance, but $19 billion in real estate. Now, I'm not the smartest tool or the sharpest tool in the toolbox. But it seems to me that they have more money in insurance reserves than they actually have in a hard asset such as real estate. Did y'all see the same thing that I saw? Am I making this up? Aren't y'all looking at the same financial statement that I saw, that I'm looking at? So now the question is, why on earth would they put more money in life insurance reserves than they do real estate? That's a question that we're going to answer later. Okay? Okay, boom. Now let me ask y'all something. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for something? We're gonna ask y'all something. Y'all ready? Here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go. Do y'all see Range Rover, Rolls Royce, Toyota, Bentley? Do y'all see that in their financial report? Do y'all see Gucci belt, Louis Vuitton? Oh, y'all don't see that? Y'all don't see? Do y'all see mansion house, vacations, private jet? Do y'all see that here? Anywhere here? Do y'all see that? I don't see it in their financial report. Oh, because the primary focus of their banking business is for it to make money, not lose money. Are y'all following me? The primary focus of the banking business is to make money, not lose money. So now the question is, how can I start positioning myself to take my family and our finances to the next level? Okay? If y'all been getting some good information so far and you feel like it's valuable, let me see some ones in the chat. If y'all are watching on IG right now, you may want to go to thehybridbanker.com so that you can watch this, because I'm going to the board and you're not going to be able to see it clearly. Boom. Let me see some chat talk. Yeah. Let me see some chat talk. Boom. All right. So we finna teach from the board. Okay? So in teaching from the board, What we got to understand, this is what we got to understand, that there are three teams in this world. And this is something that I've been teaching for a very long time online. And it seems like so many people just don't understand. And I'm going to cite you the founder of the concept. Why? I think it's very important to cite the people who have done literary work that you have not done that helps you with your thesis. So the Banker's Code. That's the name of this book. The Banker's Code. The Banker's Code. That's the name of the book that actually created this model in this concept. The Banker's Code. And what you got to understand about the Banker Code, it talks about how there are three teams. The Banker's Code talks about how there are three teams. Can y'all see my screen? See, the first team is the bank. The second team is the consumer. And the third team is the producer. The consumer is the customer. The producer is the entrepreneur. And the banker is the boss. And in this case, I'll put the controller. So what does the banker do? The banker whispers a little sweet nothing. Hey, baby, what's going on? Listen, I'll give you anything you need, baby. Listen. You want a car? Baby, you want a house? Baby, what you want? You want a line of credit? You want some credit? Come on, baby, what you need? You want some clothes? You want them clothes. You can't afford them clothes, but I'm going to give it to you, baby. Don't worry about that, baby. Baby, shh. I got you. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to front you the money that you can buy the cars, the house, the clothes, and what vacations. You can use my credit. But the only thing I ask in return, you can use all that stuff so that you can buy from the producer. So I'll give you the money up front so you can buy it from the producer. Don't worry about that, baby. Daddy got you. Don't worry about it, baby. I got you, baby. I got you, baby. Don't worry about that. Don't sleep on that, baby. I got you. But then guess what? You done bought something from the producer. The producer says, shoot. The entrepreneur says, I'm going to give you what you want. Whatever the service or product is. Y'all see this? So you didn't borrow money from Daddy Bank so that you can go purchase something from the entrepreneur that you probably cannot afford. You get the service and the product of your choice. But guess what Daddy want back? Your daddy wants something back in return. Daddy wants something back in return. Yeah, you're going to have to pay Daddy back some money plus a little interest. Yeah. And don't worry about it. If you can't pay me back, if you can't pay Daddy Bank, that's okay. You're just going to end up owing more. But don't worry. As the consumer, we ain't the only one getting played. See, the banker, he got a song. It's called "It's Living Two Different Lives." Consumer in the day, you at night. And even though this ain't right, I just can't get enough. See, the banker's whispering sweet nothings to the consumer and also whispering sweet nothings to the producer. He say, listen, don't worry about them over there, baby. See, I got them feeding you. It's about you. He go and talk to the producer. He say, listen, you the producer in this world. You just need some cash flow. You just need some money. So I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to give you some money so you can create the clothes, the house, the cars that they want. I'm going to give you some money so you can go and take care of their needs. And the only thing I ask in return is that you just pay Daddy back. You just pay Daddy back. Don't worry. I got you. And you know what happens, family? What team is the only team that wins on both sides? Is it the banker Is it the consumer or is it the producer? Who's winning on both sides? Some of you all been in my class before. It is the banker. Why? The banker like the pimp. The banker ain't left the house at all, but yet is getting residuals from everything. Y'all know what happens? This is what happens. Let me unshare my screen real quick. I want to make it real quick and plain for you. This is what happens. The banker needs and wants you to get so addicted to needing them that you never can see your life without them. See, that's when they got us. It's not using them as a short term, but when they become your long term, at some point in time, you got to stop playing yourself. Do you understand? So in this case, do y'all know what happens? We never leave this cycle. We stay in this perpetuating cycle machine. We get the money either from our job or from the bank, only to get the money here and have nothing in return and complain that life is hard and that the world sucks. You know what happens? Then the producer does the same thing and becomes the consumer. Now we have a never-ending cycle and wondering why we can't ever get off of the wheel of death. Have you ever asked yourself, why does all the financial literacy information always keep us here, but never teach us how to become this? Y'all ain't never wondered that? Education typically stops at the level that they want to keep you at. That's where education stops. See, they'll give you free, and let me tell y'all something. Can I tell y'all something? I'm going to tell y'all something. Do y'all remember on that picture that I showed y'all when the bank was giving me a check? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember on that picture when I showed y'all when the bank was giving me a check when I was teaching banking principles? You know what they consider that? They consider that a sponsorship. And the moment that you stop preaching or teaching the narrative of your sponsor is the moment that your sponsor stops giving you what? Paper, money. And what I realized was that all of these textbooks that we read, all of these financial gurus that we look up to, they getting sponsored. And they don't want to lose their sponsor. Because if they talk too much shit about the bank, or the bank may not want to mess with me no more. I'm just giving y'all the real. I apologize if it's a little bit too straightforward, but I don't know any other way to be. But what I do want to teach you, is how to get to the other side. What I do want to teach you is how to elevate to the next level. And you cannot elevate to the next level if you don't know where to look and where to study so you can mimic those same results. How do you know how to drive? Somebody taught you. Or you observed somebody. How do you know how to speak? You observed and somebody tried to teach you. So I'm going to show you where to find it. And what I like to do, unlike a lot of people, I like to show you receipts so that you can go study on your own, so that you realize I'm just teaching you information that was readily there. You just didn't know where to look. Okay? So, boom. As y'all can see, I got my show notes. All right, boom. That's next. All right, so A lot of us, when we think about the bank, right? A lot of us, when we think about the concept of the bank, we always think in terms of impossible. When we think about a bank, we think about what? Starting a charter and doing all this other stuff, and then other people got to approve the charter. I'm talking about starting a banking system much like everyone else in the world that starts their banking system. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm about to share the link with y'all so that y'all have this link too, okay? I'm about to share this link with y'all so that y'all have this link too. Having a middleman is okay until you own your distribution. That's the biggest thing. It's like pushing a product and you get so big that you never try to become the plug. You always try to push through the plug. No, be a big boy, be a big girl, and become fully financially solvent, which means you're not dependent on anyone else, okay? Y'all got that link? All right, boom. We're going to the link. We're going to the link. All right, boom. We here with it. We here with it. We here with it. For sure, Darius. All right, so boom. So let's look at how J.P. Morgan Chase got started. Everybody knows about Chase, but they don't know how they started. Did y'all know that J.P. Morgan Chase started off as a company called the Manhattan Company? The Manhattan Company. And you know what the Manhattan Company was? A water company. Looking there for something. It was a water company. And you know what they did? The Manhattan Company used surplus capital. I'm not going to act like we know. I'm not going to act like we know what words are. So we finna look up the definition. What is the definition of surplus capital? Surplus capital is the excess of remaining after stock is sold, or the excess of remaining of retained earnings. That means profit. Y'all got that? So what did this bank do? They took the money that they made from selling their water product, then they used the surplus capital for banking operations. For banking operations. And then he started lending and investing in businesses that made sense to the information that he knew. And y'all can go study. I gave y'all the link. Y'all can go study the history of J.P. Morgan. The biggest point that I was trying to let y'all know was this. Did J.P. Morgan, in the history of J.P. Morgan, did they do anything different than you can do? The question I'm asking you is, did they do anything different than what you can do with your own business? The answer should be an emphatic no. It's an easy no. But the problem that we have is that we use... Okay, so how do the banks make money? They got products and services that they sell to us. They get money from us for the products and services, and then they use the surplus cash in order to get wealthy or rich, which is typically called like float money. But they start with a consumer, right? So this is what happens. You got a customer, a consumer, and they typically give you money in return for your service or product. Are we on the same page, right? So what happens is this customer usually gives you money in return for a service or a product. And then that money hits your business. But because we're so short-sighted and we don't know what to do next, do you know what we do, y'all? We take this same money that we earned and we take the money, we give it to somebody else's business for service or a product. So we ain't nothing but an enterprising consumer. You go from a singular consumer to an enterprising consumer. And at the end of the day, we left broke, busted, and disgusted. So the reason why a large majority of us, specifically black and brown businesses, the reason why so many of us cannot make the next step to get to the next level is because we spend all of our profits to look good for people we should not give a damn about. You go look in your closet full of regret. How do I know? How do you know, Jake? Because I've done it. I went and bought a Rolls Royce cash without ever even driving it before. I never even drove a Rolls Royce. I just walked up to it and said, everybody online capping like they got it, so I'm finna just go buy it. Went and bought it cash. The seat was hurting my back. It was the most uncomfortable, quote unquote, luxurious drive car I ever had. So I sold it. The most beautiful thing is my bank bought it for me, which is different than what we typically do. So how can we ever get ahead if the moment that we make money, we immediately give it to somebody else's business? We just give it away with no anticipation of ever getting it back. Let me ask you a simple question. It should be a simple answer. Is that a banker's mentality? The answer is no. Y'all, that ain't no God issue. That ain't no prayer issue. We be praying to God, God, fix my situation. That ain't no prayer issue. That's a confidence and insecurity issue. I bet God tired of some of us calling him. Boy, we pray to God, boy. Some of y'all beefing with God right now. Because he ain't answered your prayer in 20 years because you keep doing the same damn thing. So what did JP Morgan Chase do? The company do first. They were a water company. They sold water and then used the profits to take them to their next level. What does that mean for us? You got to learn how to sell a product or a service so that you can generate money so that you can go and practice banking. Y'all got that? Not to go and buy cars, clothes, and vacations that you cannot afford yet. Are y'all following me? Y'all following me? So, what is the model supposed to look like? Your model should resemble the bank. Your model should resemble successful companies. Can I show y'all something? So when we looked at the bank's financial statements, we saw that they put a bunch of money, billions of dollars inside of insurance reserves, right? Did we collectively see that together? Yes or no? I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Did we collectively see that together? Okay. So I'm about to send y'all another link. This is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is one of the best investors of our lifetime. And I'm about to show you where he put his money and how he got wealthy. See, Cousin Jake gonna bring y'all the receipts. Okay? See, a lot of people regurgitate. They regurgitate Cousin Jake. But they can't be Cousin Jake because they not doing the research. You take my courses and classes and regurgitate it. I'm not selling a product, I'm selling a concept. Do y'all got the link? Can y'all see my page? Okay, cool. This says how Warren Buffett built a $500 billion business. That's $500 billion. That's 500 billion, which is $500 billion. Now, let's look at something very important. Let's look at something that's very important. Y'all, don't y'all hate children that act like they can't live without their technology? My daughter done asked for my phone 5,000 times. Boy, how I miss when we used to be able to just use our imagination. Here. All right, so watch this, y'all. Watch this right here. Look at this. What does Warren Buffett's, oh my gosh. What does that say? What does that say? Oh my God. If I could sing an old Hebrew, Negro spiritual right now, I would. What does that say? That says the value of trust explains Berkshire's preference to financial operations. Look what it says. In growth internally rather than through third-party lenders. Y'all see that? Do you see what I see? It says they trust themselves more than they trust the bank. They said, Warren Buffett said that he trusts himself being the bank more than he trusts the bank banking for him. That's what he said. That's what he said, y'all. That's what he said. That's what he said. Do y'all see that? Y'all got quiet on the chat now. Y'all looking real quiet when y'all see that. Now. Let's see how he finances. Let's see if everybody can find the commonality in Warren Buffett's strategy in the bank that we looked at. It says Berkshire's finances and acquisitions, primarily through retained earnings, with leverage contributed by insurance. He said with leverage contributed by what? Insurance. Wait. He says Berkshire's financial operations is primarily through retained earnings. Well, what does that remind us of? Oh, that reminds us of the bank. How did they become the bank? They use surplus capital, retained earnings for banking operations. Oh my God. Okay, we're starting to see commonality. And they also leverage the insurance float in deferred taxes. What does that remind us of, y'all? What does that remind us of? That reminds us of the bank. So Warren Buffett said, let me mirror the bank so that I can be able to do the same thing. Let me use insurance money and float money and its deferred taxes in order for me to position my family to success, my business to success. Watch this. It says Berkshire generally does not use banks or other intermediaries. Y'all see that? Do y'all see that? I'm just trying to make sure y'all see. I'm just trying to see, do y'all see what I see? Somebody said the use of traditional debt juice Berkshire results, but borrowed money is costly and it creates risk of default along with collateral damages. So Marquez said, wait a minute, Jake. So what the hell did Warren Buffett use? What did he use now? Come on, Jake, shoot, what did he use? You want me to tell you what Warren Buffett used? This is what Warren Buffett used. Warren Buffett took the money made from the businesses that he owns. His businesses provide services for the customer. So now the customer is happy. But Warren Buffett does what we should be doing because he does what the banks do. He puts the money in a reserve until he knows what he wants to do with it. Oh my goodness. Can I tell y'all something? Y'all know what Warren Buffett said? He said he would never invest money or lends money to anything he doesn't understand. You know how simple and complex that is at the same time? You know how simple and complex that is at the same time. When we get money, we're like, all right, what's the play? Let me flip it. What's up with it? Warren Buffett says, I would rather put my money in a reserve and hold my capital there in a business, in a reserve somewhere, before I just put my money anywhere for the risk or the gamble that it could do more. So what we're supposed to do until you know what to do next? You do nothing and you put it in a place that gives you guaranteed protection. So why insurance? Why is it important? One, it gives you an easy succession plan. See, when we stop looking at our businesses like babies we can never get rid of, you realize that succession is important. So many of us start businesses without ever thinking of what happens when you retire, what happens when you want something new, what happens when you want something next, or what happens when you die. It's very important for us to understand the importance of money management, which is succession. So when I put my money inside of an insurance reserve, I get what's called a death benefit. Y'all know what a death benefit is? This says that when I die, the beneficiary gets the death benefit. When I die, the beneficiary gets the death benefit. If y'all want to see the official screen, click that link below, thehybridbanker.com. When I die, it gets the death benefit. So what does that say? When I die, millions of dollars goes to the business. Isn't that a great benefit of your money? Yes or no? The second thing, it protects your principal, what you put in. So you can never lose as long as you operate correctly. Why is that important for you never to lose your principal? It's important for you to never lose your principal. Why? Because when it's time for you to actually activate your capital, you don't want to be putting your money in something that tomorrow you lose 50% of. Isn't that true? The third thing, you get to defer your taxes and not have to worry about taxes. Why is that important? Because if 15 to 30% of your wealth is getting taken by the government, the number one benefactor that Warren Buffett had in generating and building his wealth is the fact that because he uses insurance, he can continue to defer his taxes forever. Think about this, right? Think about this, right? Listen. If you're paying 20% in taxes, but your investment account is making 10%, how are you winning? Can anybody tell me? If you're paying 30% in taxes, and your investment did 15% that year, how are you winning? You need the compound effect, and your money has to be in a place where it can grow tax-free, so you can build true wealth long term. Patricia, it's not an IUL. A lot of people say, well, you can put your reserve when you're banking in an IUL. My answer is hell to the no. IULs have not had a great history of sustaining itself long term. So to practice banking with an IUL is ludicrous. If you're going to put it in there and not touch it for years, you're okay with the risk, that's one thing. But to practice banking, anybody that is teaching you private banking using IULs, you need to fire them faster than you fired your boyfriend or girlfriend. And that's a fact. What's the second thing? You get to leverage the same thing Warren did, which is a float, which means what? In your reserve, inside of your policy, it looks like this. If you have $50,000 in your account, and this is the insurance company, if you wanted to access $50,000, the insurance company will give you your money, give you $50,000 from their account, and your money will never be touched, and it will be growing 3.7 to 8% every year on the full $50,000. So you borrowed $50,000, you leveraged it, the insurance company gave you 50 of the money you wanted, but your money is never touched. So if you don't have to pay taxes and your money is never interrupted, you're guaranteed to win this game called wealth. So that's why Warren Buffett and the banks like insurance. And lastly, when you put your profits inside of an insurance reserve as a business, you get to write off 100% of that money. Now, Jake, what the hell are you talking about now? When you set up your reserves and you put your money inside a reserve, 100% of that is now a write-off that you don't have to pay taxes on because now it's an expense. Y'all can't say I'm not giving you game. So now, well, after I got my money in my reserve, Jake, how do I keep the money growing? Great question. Great question. So this is how it works, right? You have a business. Y'all see this? You got a business. The customer gives you money. You give them products and services. They happy. You take the money from your business and you invest it in your reserve. Okay? You invest it in your reserve. We'll talk about the different layers of reserve in a second. You invest it, you put it in your reserve. Your reserve, you know, is protecting the capital. Y'all got it? So now what do you do with the reserve? After you figure out what you want to do, you then lend or invest money into familiar businesses in your industry. Wait, Jake. Why would I do that? Because isn't that what the bank does? Doesn't the bank lend or invest to businesses it understands? Absolutely. So how do you grow your wealth? You have to lend or invest money into familiar businesses that you understand. From that, it's going to generate you a what? Return of what? More money. That does what? Fills your reserve and makes it larger. Do y'all see that? This is the very reason why I teach you all that your very first profitable business is your bank, the initial version of your bank. The very first profit. Why? Because how many of us start a business, it got profitable, then you got bored? You start a business, it gets profitable, you get bored, you want something new, you want to expand. And what do we typically do? We stop tending to that business. We stop tending to that business. That very first business is not to buy you a Birkin bag. Your very first successful business is the staple to your financial construct if you understand the foundation of how it is supposed to work. It's very important that you understand that. I don't know what 50 Cent do with his money. I know what $1 do. That's me. I'm $1. If he put $1, it's very important. So look, why is that important? Because if you look at the history of big companies, what do? They eat up smaller companies. So what does that look like? It looks like this. So the big company, once they're profitable, why? Because most small businesses, they don't know how to operate. They're only there for money. So what do? You take the profits from your business. You may lend it to a company, but then they can't pay it back. So when you lend the money to a company, you can't pay it back. Guess what? Then you can acquire their business, and now their entire business is paying your reserve. Or you can invest into companies, buy them out, and guess what? Then start buying similar businesses all the way down the line that all pay money back to your reserve. And your reserve is getting nothing bigger. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. Do y'all see it? So then guess what? You lend to businesses or you invest in businesses that are in the same industry that you're in. I see so many people trying to freaking compete with each other. I see so many people trying to compete in business. I don't want to compete. I either want to invest in it, I want to acquire you, or I want to lend to you. Either way, you can come to Daddy Jake. I got you. Okay? So, what happens? And I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna show y'all my model in this, what I did, okay? I'm gonna show y'all my model, what we did. So you get familiar in one business, but then you learn a new skill. So then you invest into a what? You invest into another business and you do the same thing over and over again. And before you know it, you have acquired or you lend or you have invested in tens of companies that now all feed your reserve. They all feed your reserve. making it larger and larger and larger. This is the very reason why I tell people, if your insurance professional or financial advisor is teaching you private banking is just getting a policy, I'm sorry, them Negroes don't know what they talking about. They have no idea. Because the construct of banking is acquisitions and trying to get your surplus cash into your competitors' pockets so that you can participate in all of the inside of the business. That's banking. Now, let me ask y'all a question, okay? If y'all start making a bunch of money from all these businesses you done invested in and lent, and your reserve is getting bigger and bigger, do you think that you need this business function anymore? If all of these companies are now feeding your reserve, do you think that you need this original business structure anymore? The answer is no, you don't need it anymore. Y'all, the overall name of the game in business is not for you to stay in the game forever. I be seeing people 30 years in the game, 40 years in the game, and they've never transitioned to becoming the bank. They still in the trenches. I don't look up people who spend 20, 30 years in no game. Like that's a pulling flag. That ain't no exit for me. Why? Because God said that we're supposed to live this life in abundance. We're supposed to have our Sabbath. You know what a Sabbath is? It's a rest. How you gonna rest if every day of your life you working 12 to 18 hours a day? That's why men be dying early. That's why we be stressed out and sick. And that's why other demographics be living to 80. They know how to get the move out the way. So when you look at the game, like this game that we in, right? Like a sport. You ain't finna see nobody playing at no high level 40 years in no NFL or no NBA. You may get 10 to 20 good years. After that, they out the door. That's the true way that you build something. Now, Jake, let me ask you a question. What does that look like? It ends up looking like this. Write this down. It's called an investment holdings company. It's called an investment holdings company. The reason why so many of us black and brown businesses cannot get to the next level is because we still stay at the level of little stuff. Little level. We stay at the little level. We stay at this level. We like to keep telling people I'm millionaires and I'll get it out the mud. That's what we like to keep telling people. But in truth, family, in truth, we need more businesses going public. We need more structures that where black investors can invest into the businesses. Into the sorry, y'all. That's what we need. Okay? So, let's continue. I'm almost done. Thank y'all for staying with me. Okay? So, write that down. Investment holdings company. So, your business model goes from this. A lot of us do this. And this is where we stay. We just back and forth with the customer. Ooh, yeah, selling a product. I'm finna go get me some nice things. Ooh, yeah, selling a product. I'm finna go get me some nice things. Ooh, yeah, selling a product. I'm finna go get me some nice things. And we never go here. And when you are just here, your model looks like this. This is being the bank. This is being the bank. When your startup company becomes a holdings company of all of the other companies that you acquired when you were lending and investing. That's being the bank. And y'all remember that reserve? That reserve is now here. all of the money is going out and it's coming back in. It's going out, it's coming back in. It's going out, it's coming back in. Going out and coming back in. When we think about being the bank, so many of us only think about the bank in the terms of managing people's money as a service. That's only one function of business. That's only one function of business. The other function of business is operating like a bank, but you control assets that continue to pump the primary source. If y'all still with me, press the number 3. If this class is nothing but fire, let me see some threes. Let me see some threes. Let me see some threes. All right, so now the question is, Jake, what's your model look like though? Y'all like, Jake, like what? What's your model look like though? I'll show you. So let me show you what Warren Buffett has done. Let me tell y'all something. If you study history, you can catch your future. Stop studying these people on social media. All of us on social media, y'all, we are all yearning to get to higher positions. We should not be your end all be all for content. I'll just leave it at that. I ain't trying to start no mess. All right. All right, so boom. This is an example of a company, right? This company had a bunch of different departments of one business, and then it broke its company off into different businesses that housed the department. So it made them 4 different companies, okay? I just wanted to show y'all that so you can understand the context, okay? So when I show you mine, so what happened was I did the same thing. I was selling insurance. Oh, let me change the color. I was selling insurance. So here's me selling insurance policies. I had an insurance agency. And typically what happens with insurance agencies, you either grow the brand, to where it produces capital for you, or you build an agency with agents that will produce that capital. Either way, this is what people do. And most people in my industry, we stay right here. We stay in that pocket, just selling insurance, and then just stay in that pocket the whole time. So the reason that y'all see me wear a hat that says more than an agent is because I knew I would be more than that. So what were we doing? We had a customer. They were paying us money, and we were providing them a service. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see that? We had a customer. They were paying us money. We were providing them a service. And what I did for years was we put our money in a reserve for 5 years. I wouldn't say a full 5, but I'll say 3 to 5 years loosely. We put our money in a reserve and invest it right back into the business. So what do you think the business started to do? The business started to what? It started to get bigger, more successful. Over years, it began to sustain itself. So now this business runs without me actively having to engage with it. Y'all follow me? But as we put more money into the business, it produced us more money into our reserve. Y'all got that? More money into the reserve. So what we did, I said, okay. So we took this success and then we created an education department first. And we made it profitable, and then we started investing time, energy, and money into that. Then we created a tech department. Then that started making a little money. And so we were between an insurance agency, education department, and a tech company. Are y'all following me? So what ended up happening was my structure looked like this. Where my agency now got put over here. And this ended up becoming like a holdings company. Okay? So what happened was, we'll call it ABS Capital, formerly known as Jacobs International Enterprises, built a company, i.e. BizCo, y'all know the name of BizCo, some of you all, that had 3 companies that has tech, education, and insurance. It has 3 companies, tech, education, and insurance. Do y'all see that? Okay. So, my profits that I received it's more like, hold on. I'm gonna erase some stuff. I hope y'all got that. If y'all don't, I can always redraw it. It look more like this. My profits that I receive okay? So this is the primary company that I owned, which became the holdings company. Okay? Or i.e. the bank. This is the bank. Okay? BizCo paid me a profit, whatever my portion was of ownership. Okay? Y'all see that? My profits went to my reserves. And then guess what I did? I lent money to one of my good friends who owned the insurance company. He decided that he wanted to turn the money that he owed me into equity, and then I owned 50% of that company now. So I lent money like a bank. To my friend who had a larger insurance agency. After lending the money, what do you call it? After lending the money, the collateral was ownership in his business. The collateral was ownership in his business. He turned the money that he owed me into equity and ownership that allowed for me to own 50% of his business. Are y'all following me? Are you following me? We turned debt into equity. Are you following me? Okay. So, now I own 50% of another insurance company that runs without me. So then what happened? I had another friend. He needed an investment for his tax software. So I invested, and now I own 40% of a tax software that drops, shameless plug, it drops this year. In return, he said, yo, I want to do business with you with my tax company too. So now, the holdings company owns, in partnership, the tax company and the software. Do y'all see the bank? Do y'all see how that's working, right? I got more capital and I made a deal, and now we have a real estate portfolio of millions that the holdings company now owns. Are y'all following me? So what happened? My one business turned into the banking system for which my entire family's business model is now dependent upon. So versus splurging and doing all that other stuff and risking it all, the capital got put to work. So can y'all imagine? Now watch this. Can y'all imagine? So you can imagine, liquidity-wise, there was a time and point where I was broke. Liquidity. What's liquidity? Access to capital. Why was I broke? Because all of my excess capital was getting pushed where? Into other endeavors and opportunities that allow for the acquisition of other suitable businesses. So when I wear this hat, I am more than an agent. It's very important for you to understand that you are more than your current business that you are in if you understand the functionality of you doing it. So I was using my surplus capital to fund other businesses that now want my expertise in partnership with me so we can do something bigger. So somebody asks, well, now how do you get to a Warren Buffett status? This is how you get there. Warren Buffett is a publicly held company. So what do? Then you position this company as the bank to then raise capital and sell shares. So now this company that started off as just an insurance company is now a $1 billion company operating and growing. Now, is Jake super smart? No. But what did I do? I just studied what other people were doing that were already billionaires. I studied the banks and began to mimic my system to look exactly the same. So then turned a $0 portfolio into a substantial portfolio. And are y'all ready for icing on the cake? Are y'all ready for icing on the cake? Let me tell you icing on the cake. Here's icing on the cake. This entire holdings company here is owned and controlled in a trust. Impenetrable. So what is our portfolio in? It's in education, it's in tech, it's in finances, and it's in real estate, and it's all protected by what? By a trust. Now, I didn't come up with that on my own. It was revealed to me that this is exactly the exact model that the Rockefellers and J.P. Morgan used to build and conceal their wealth. This is the exact model that J.P. Morgan used and the functionality of their financial construct. And can I tell y'all something? In my program, I walk y'all through step by step how to accomplish this for yourself. And not only that, after you complete the actual program, we have certified and licensed. Y'all can just look up Rockefeller JP Morgan link. That was a PDF. Y'all can just look it up. Rockefeller JP Morgan Trust, Trust Tree. Y'all will find it. We actually have licensed practitioners that are now going to help you after you complete your program in person. Well, not in person, but step by step. So this is not a program where you take it, you learn it, you got to go figure it out. We have the insurance specialists that specialize in banking. We have trust specialists that specialize in trust. We have real estate. It's a real estate specialist that teach you how to obtain and get debt-free real estate. We have, if you want to buy public, I don't have enough time tonight to talk about that, buying public companies. If you want to learn how to buy public companies, there's a difference between investing and buying, two different concepts. If you want to learn how to buy public companies and think of it as a purchase, we actually have one of the best financial advising practices that are licensed with their Series 65 that can help you with that process. Why is this important? It's important to understand that after you get the basis of knowledge, that there is somebody at the end that you can schedule an appointment with and that can take you through the next steps in your phase. It's very important. So if this is something that interests you, I'm going to tell you this real quick. Everyone that gets a part of the program, you also get a hardcover. Y'all hear that? You also get a hardcover curriculum that goes with the program. This is teaching you how to build the insurance reserve portion of your banking system. It's a curriculum, step by step, exactly how to do it. Y'all see how big that thing is. If this is something that interests you, I'm not being funny. We for real only got 70 of these books left. So that means after 70 books are sold, there are no more spots left until we order more. We've got 70 of these left. If this is something that interests you, you want to know what the next step is, press the number 2. I will only show you if you give me permission. If not, you can exit out. Cool. Cool. All right, cool. The next step, I'm going to put it in the chat. Go to privatebankingblueprint.com. Somebody put that on IG for me. privatebankingblueprint.com. Somebody put that on IG for me. Put that on IG. privatebankingblueprint.com. If you go to privatebankingblueprint.com, you're going to see this site. It's going to blow y'all's mind how much we charge to teach you how to build your banking system. Where are you at? We teach you and help you set up your banking system. Including the textbook for $374. $374. You get a curriculum hardcover textbook. You get a curriculum hardcover textbook. And access to the back end. Again, what are you going to learn inside the program? You're going to get the full curriculum, how to set up your insurance reserve, how to set up your family business, how to choose the right path of mastery for your practice, how to leverage your private money, how to set up your trust, how to get your family legal counsel and your business's legal counsel, how to grow your banking system. You get all of that inside the curriculum, plus you get this textbook. If you go to privatebankingblueprint.com, we got about, let me see how many people we got. We got about 55 people that are on Zoom. We got about 46 people that are on IG. We got 37 people that are on YouTube. Go to privatebankingblueprint.com. Privatebankingblueprint.com. We only have 70 spots in it. For the first 30 of the 70 that I'll give you access to, for the first 30, I'm going to be signing your book before you leave, before it goes out the door. The first 30, you'll get my signature on your curriculum. And if y'all have never seen my curriculum before, this ain't red fish, blue fish, yellow fish, who fish. That's a real curriculum right there, baby. That's a real curriculum right there, with diagrams and examples and everything you need to move forward. If you have already been a part of the program and paid for it, you can participate in this 14-day boot. And what I mean by that is, if you already have purchased a 14-day private banking blueprint challenge, you still got this in your back end. You will still be able to participate in this live teaching that I'm teaching this go around. If you have the old private banking blueprint curriculum, you're going to have to get into this new one in order to get this information. Okay? Somebody said, do you teach how to get your birth certificate private? No, I do not. I don't even know how to do that. I don't teach that, okay? I'm going to do a couple of shout outs for those that went ahead and took action now. Let me see the phone, baby. Phone. Crazy girl. I'm going to do a couple of shout outs and then I got to go feed my baby. Do a couple of shout outs. All right. Michael McNeil. Michael McNeil. You can click any of the links. They go to the same thing. Michael McNeil. Somebody said, how do you know if we are the old PBB or the new PBB? The new PBB got access to a total different platform. So you would know. You don't have access to the new PBB, to the new access portal. You know you're not a part of that group. Michael McNeil. Definitely going to be signing your copy, family. Michael McNeil paid before we even finished. You hear me? What's up, what's up, what's up? I see some of y'all trying to get up in here. Oh, no, Michael McNeil. It wasn't complete. Michael McNeil, Vicky Clark, I see you trying to get in here. Deontay White. What's up, Deontay? I see you. What's up, baby? Yeah, baby. You got to give me a hug and a kiss. You just wanted to look at the screen. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I know you. Vicky Clark, I see you. So, Vicky Clark, Deontay White, Michael McNeil. Yours didn't go through. Deontay White, Vicky Clark, I see you. I see you. I see you. Come on. Daddy gonna shout out like 2 more, and then we can go. I know you're hungry. It's school night. It will only let me view 5 videos. That ain't the one. Go to. Let me show you where to go to. You paid for yours this morning. Let me see. Shatinia Quails. Is that you? Okay, Shatinia Quails. My bad. You paid this morning. She said I'm going into the class ready. So you're definitely going to get a signed copy. So Centennial, Deontay, Vicky, we'll wait on one more as a shout out, and then we out of this thing. Okay? What you hungry for? You don't know?
Panda Express probably.
You can have Panda. I already ate Panda today. In Beverly. I see you, cousin Beverly. So the first 30 are going to get a signed copy. After 70, y'all are going to know because it's going to send you to a waiting list. Okay? After 70, y'all are going to know because it's going to send you to a waiting list. And on the site tomorrow, you're going to know how many spots are left. Okay? So it's very important that you take place. Oh, and I meant to tell y'all, I'm actually teaching it live. Me and my team are teaching this live. So if you miss a session, because we're going to be teaching probably during work hours, if you miss a live session, we have the recorded version already done. We have the recorded version already done. Okay? If you have the private banking blueprint 14-day challenge, and you took the 14-day challenge, you still have access to the back end. So don't worry, you can participate again. We are going to be teaching it live. For those of you that want that live interaction, it will be live teaching. And the teaching will start Wednesday of this week. The teaching will start Wednesday of this week. Okay? So, I think that's it. I told my daughter that we was going to shout out only a couple. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay true to that. We're going to stay true to that, okay? Do I still have access to the old class? If you got it through the ABS Institute, the answer is going to be no. Okay? All right. So listen, everybody else that's going to be chiming in, I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Other than that, I will see y'all later. Peace. Boom, 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 boom.
That didn't take long.
I know it only took it kind of did. It took like 2 hours. I didn't mean for it to take that long. It took an hour.